about the three earth ages. There was an age before this earth age. That was when the dinosaurs were on earth. The earth was perfect. It was total earth was a garden. And when we were all in the spirit body, he made all the souls at one time. And this is very important to understand that there's three earth ages, because it makes everything from the Bible fit into place if you study the Bible. And if you look at, like, you get some clues from different places in Peter and also in Genesis, where replenish, and then God knew you in Jeremiah 1:4, and also in Ephesians 1:4, that he knew you before you were born. He knew you before the foundations of the world, of this world age. The first earth age, we were all in the spirit body, where we didn't get sick, we didn't age, we didn't get old, and you could live forever in that body. But what happened was Satan was very close to God at that time, and then he started falling away from God and wanted to be God. And God wasn't going to have it. He was doing perverted things. Our body, our spirit body is perfect, but he was doing things what was perverted. And he had a third of all the souls following him. And God had to put an end to it. And that's when all the dinosaurs died. And that's when the earth shifted off its axis. God took the earth off its axis. That's why magnetic north and true north are 90 miles off now. And the whole earth was a garden. It was lit by God. There was a firmament around the earth, where what the oceans are now. The oceans were around the earth as a firmament, and it was like a protection, and it was always light. There was never darkness. And we, in the spirit body, you don't have to sleep. You could probably, if you want to, maybe, I don't know, but I'm not sure. But in the first earth age, God, it was perfect for us. We were happy, and you had so much stuff you've stored from the first earth age, what's there now, what's in the spirit now that you stored, compared to what you've done in the flesh, which you can't take with you. You can't take that kind of stuff with you when you leave this earth. You can only take your works with you when you go now. But the first earth age ended because Satan had a third of all God's children following him and doing this perversion. It was like political correctness, just like there is today. The same type of thing was going on. And God put an end to it. And when he put an end to it, it was called the Kabo. And he shifted the earth, like I said, and took it off its axis. And we were all, then God decided, he could have killed all of those children that followed Satan, but he decided not to. He decided to make a flesh age, and to make every soul go through the flesh and be born through woman, where the water would break and you'd be born. He wanted everybody to be born through the flesh, through the woman. There wasn't womb. There wasn't a womb in the first earth age. No one was born. You could have lived forever, and God has lived forever. We just don't understand what eternity is. He's always existed, God. We just don't understand it because we go by hours, by days, by weeks, by years. That's how we go, by time. There wasn't time like there is now. A day to the Lord is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. But we didn't have time like we have now, because you didn't age. It didn't get sick. But anyways, so a third of the children followed Satan, and God ended that earth age and put an end to it. And he wanted to find out who loves them. That's what this flesh is about. They all had to be born through a woman, and then go through this life. Everybody had to. And you didn't have a choice really, other than the fallen angels, where they refused to be born through woman because they wanted to be with Satan. And Satan is a cherub, and he refused to be born through woman too. So they are predetermined to die. They will they will go into the lake of fire. Now, if you die right now, if you pass on, you're going to go on one side of the gulf or the other. You're going to paradise, no matter who you are or what you did. You're going to paradise, but you're going to be on the bad side or the good side. We'll go more into the gulf, what splits the two. You can't see across. You can see maybe a little bit, but you can't talk to people. You can't have anything to do with them. You can't even barely see them. There's a great gulf between them. And then the flesh age, you live about 120 years, and it used to be, before it was polluted, you could live almost 1,000 years, because Methuselah did almost live. He lived 900 and some years. And then you're going to pass on, and you're going to be on one side of the gulf or another. And it's going to determine what side of the gulf you're going to be on. If you love God and cared what God thought, and what you try to do well, and you try to be a righteous person and help one another and stuff like that, you're going to be on one side. And on the other side, you're going to be if you didn't care about God or anything about him. Okay, so if that's what happens, if you pass on now, but there will come a time where this earth age ends. And when this earth age ends, we all will be in the spirit again together. That means that all the souls have gone through woman, the womb, and God, has made an end to this earth age. And he will then we will go into the millennium. And the millennium is when there's 1,000 years of strict discipline, and that's when we decide who goes into the lake of fire. That's hell. Hell only lasts a couple minutes. It's not like we're going to sit there for eternity watching people fry like bacon. You're not going to do that. So that's a myth. Hell doesn't even exist at this time. During the flesh age, the hell doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist until after the millennium. When the millennium ends, Satan, at the beginning of the millennium, Satan will be put into a pit, and all his influence will be taken from him. He will have no influence on people. You have bands put on him, and you'll be in a pit, and you'll be able to go see him. And it says in the Bible that people will go to the pit and look down at him and say, "Is this the man who fooled the whole world, deceived the whole world?" Because that's what he did. He's deceiving people right now. His spirit, he's not on earth. One day he will be cast to earth, and with those 7,000 fallen angels, they will be here approximately 5 months. It could be less than that, but it won't be more. And when this earth age ends, we go into the millennium. We all will be there like we were in the first earth age, but some will have perishable souls and some won't. And those people who have unperishable souls are called the very elect. And there's a couple different elect. There's a few different types of elect. There is the 144,000 elect, which they find out the truth during the flesh, but they don't live it and they don't really care, and then they start to worship Satan when he comes, but they don't know. And then when they start hearing Satan pretending to be Jesus and stuff, then what they do is they turn from it and they realize that they were taught this, they knew this, and then they turn from Satan. And then there's the 7,000. The 7,000 very elect. They They are going to be on earth. They're on earth right now, and they're teaching people the truth about the three earth ages and all this stuff. And then there is also the 232 princes of the elect, and they are on earth too right now. But they will be here, and the same as those people who followed Satan at the very end of this earth age, where we're close to the end of this earth age. All the people who were following Satan are on earth today. Those same people are here. And they will see, when Satan is cast to earth, how do we know this is the end of this earth age? Is because there was it was called the fig tree generation. When Israel became Israel again, you can say that happened in 1948 through 1967. Those two dates will prove to you that we're in the fig tree generation. I'm not going to go much into that right now, and what happened was there were going to be one generation after that. So that's how we know we're in the last days, last of this generation. So we'll go into the millennium, and those people who are the elect will have unperishable souls, and they will teach during the millennium. They will they will live in the temple with God, and they will be with God all the time. They will go out of the temple, but they will go to their loved ones and stuff and try to get them straightened out, because there is going to be strict discipline during that time. We're going to be in a spirit body, which you can't kill yourself. You can't do anything. You're there. You are there, and you can't do anything about it. So this is pretty much what I'm telling you is after the millennium, that 1,000 years is up, Satan will be released out of the pit for a short period of time, basically just to walk into the lake of fire. And hell is described in it's described as a second death, but it's also described in there as a lamb on a pit turning over the fire, and that grease off the meat goes into the fire, and it goes psh, it's infinite matter. It becomes nothing. And those people who decide to walk into the lake of fire, we will not remember them for the eternity. We won't even know they ever existed. It'll be taken from our mind, those people who followed Satan and who decided to go into the lake of fire. But God had to do it this way. We don't want those people here because we don't want to go through the flesh life again. So we want to be able to live forever. So those are the basics of the three earth ages I have just told you. You need to get into the Bible. There's places in the Bible. You need to get with someone who studies and to actually teaches the Bible chapter by chapter and verse by verse. Now I suggest you go to Shepherd's Chapel online, or there's ways on different cables that you can find Shepherd's Chapel, and it's Dr. Arnold Murray. He teaches the three earth ages. He teaches the whole Bible through, chapter by chapter and verse by verse, every book of the Bible. So I suggest you start studying and getting into the Word like God says to, not to go to a preacher and just learn a little bit, a verse every time, and he just talks about everything else. You need to get into the Word and really understand